What is up, everybody? Ninja Nick here with Tactical Gaming, bringing you guys a very interesting video. So, apparently, there was a shooting on a bus in Charlotte, North Carolina. And, of course, the company, which does not put forth any way for, the worker to actually have, self defense or have someone there to protect them or keep them safe or anything like that. So they fired the gentleman who actually, defended himself. Now, granted, I watched the video. I do suggest you go check out Black Conservative Perspective. He did a very good video on it. He showed a lot of the footage, and from my security background, I can see where, in part, where the company probably fired him, but the reasoning was because he brought a firearm and he defended himself. So this is my stance, right? If you're going to be a company, right, and you're going to have people work for you, and you're going to allow criminals to actually ride your buses or shop out your locations or anything else like that, then this is what you need to do. Because eventually, people are going to stop working for you, and then you're going to go bankrupt. Okay? So from my security background, when I worked asset protection, whenever we got done kicking someone out from our store who was trying to steal or anything else like that, right? They would run to the bus stop and they would hop on the bus and then they'd go switch and go to Walmart or go down the road somewhere else. Right? Now, a lot of these incidences, these people were violent. They would threaten us with a knife, a gun. They threatened to come back and shoot up the store, stuff like that. Right? Now, it's crazy to think that one, as a bus driver, because back in the day, I've never lived in New York, but back in the day, cabbies, one person driving people around, because carjackings and robberies were so bad and cabbies were losing their lives left and right. The cabbie companies in New York allowed their cab drivers to carry guns to defend themselves. Well, the company who fired this man, right, for defending himself, what would be their stance if that gentleman would have died and lost his life? Because then at that point in time, me being the family or anything else, I would have sued that bus company for several different things. One of which is allowing criminals on the bus. Okay? And the thing is, you can go ahead and trespass or ban somebody from somewhere, but the thing is, if you're not going to enforce that trespass and or ban or even have the availability to actually recognize someone who is trespassed or banned, because this person who created the whole incident on here, right, the criminal, they said that he's banned from public transportation. So how are you going to enforce that ban? When that young man gets out of jail, which he's going to, it's Charlotte, North Carolina, to where it's run by liberals and lefties and all that, right? How are you going to enforce that? Huh? Like what? Are you going to put security guards on your buses? I doubt that, because guess what that's going to do? That's going to take away one or multiple seats, and it's a bus. So if you don't give your bus drivers the availability to defend themselves, eventually you're just not going to have bus drivers. See what I mean? And the best part about it is the witness, the one gentleman who was the closest to the whole entire thing, was actually on the bus driver's side. He literally said, "How is anyone going to want to drive a bus or do any kind of job? Period, knowing that these companies are allowing criminals to run rampant, and it's in retail, it's in all sorts of things." Now, the thing is, if you want to stop retail crime, you want to stop carjackings, you want to stop, people doing stupid things on buses, you need to start allowing your employees to actually do something about it. Now, I'm not saying, hire a random person on the street and then say, hey, guess what? This is what your job entails. No. No, 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 no. What you do is you give them training that they will need, And if anything, right, what you do is you first ask them, hey, do you want to go through this training? If you go through this training, this allows you to carry a firearm. If you carry a firearm, this firearm has to be registered with the company, meaning the company knows what type of gun it is, what type of caliber it is, and that you're carrying it, right? So that if said incident happens and the police get involved, they will know and they will be aware and they will be able to give all sorts of information to the police. Okay? Now, if the companies, and this is any company, Walmart, Kroger, Target, whatever, right? Anything, right? If you don't want to go, oh, well, we'll go bankrupt. I highly doubt you would go bankrupt from actually offering this type of training. And what I mean by training is pistol qualifications as well as a tactical course. Okay? Meaning, you take a little bit out of their paycheck or you literally set aside a certain amount of funding from your what you make and allow your actual retail workers, bus drivers, cab drivers, restaurant workers, whatever, to carry because they went through pistol qualifications. They went through the tactical training that would be required for them to defend themselves in such scenarios. Now, watching the video, I did see a couple tactical things that the gentleman, the bus driver, did wrong. But at the same time, his life was in danger. Everyone else's life was in danger. Now, I don't suggest anyone do what he did in the video when it came to continuously allowing, or not allowing, I would say, because in the video, right, what happens is they get into a heated exchange, verbal altercation, and then the young man, the criminal, pulls out a gun. The bus driver sees the gun. He has a gun, which he's not allowed to have because there's a no gun sign. Didn't stop the criminal, did it? Do you think liberals that signs stop criminals? No. A criminal who sees a sign says, oh, guns aren't allowed. Oh, I gotta go back home. I gotta put my gun back. Oh, I can't go in here. No. No, they don't. They're criminals for a reason. So, what happens is they enter into fire with each other. Now, both individuals got hit. The bus driver got hit. The criminal got hit. Now, what the bus driver did was, as soon as he opened up the door, what he did was he started aiming down. Now, there was 2 passengers on the bus. Me personally, I would have opened the bus driver doors to allow everyone off the bus because there's a security camera. They had the young man's face, and he's injured. So police could easily do their job of this is what he's wearing. He's injured. He's gonna be at a hospital. Or pay attention to which direction he runs and allow him to get away. Now, granted, yes, he would get away, but at the same time, you, as the defending person, is not shooting actively in the direction of 3 people. One being the criminal, which I have no problem with. Like, that person entered in the, guess what? You fuck around and found out, and now you're gonna lose your life. But now the 2 passengers, the gentleman, the one witness who was the closest, who's even still on the bus driver's side on that, and a young lady. Okay, me personally, I would have opened up the doors, let everyone off. I would have had my eyes solely on the individual who was shooting at me. Period. Just that individual watching whatever direction he went while on the phone with the police. That is how that is done. And that kind of training can be given to anybody. And it's not super expensive, and companies can do it. But they would rather allow their workers to be assaulted. Much like how I'm going to do a story on Lululemon, who fired 2 of their employees because they called the cops. Now, of course, in their policy, they have a no tolerance policy of calling the police, which is weird. Like, why would you not want to call the police to, let them know, hey, we had a group of gentlemen come in and steal a lot of our stuff, right? But at the same time, no security. It was nothing but young women there. What would the company do if those young ladies would have been assaulted by those guys in any capacity? Whether it be, they got physically assaulted, punched, beaten up, whatever, shot, stabbed, murdered, or the worst one, raped. These companies, like Kroger, Walmart, Target, all these other ones, not so much Target because they're still hands on as far as I know, are opening up a door for their associates to give them a huge, huge multi-million-dollar lawsuit. You'll lose out more money when people stop working at your stores. People stop going to your stores or riding your buses or anything else because they don't feel safe. If people don't feel safe, they're not going to give you their money. Okay? That's just how it works. And if you're going to create policies that are going to tie the hands of the employees, whether it's security guards, whether it's the retail worker, cab, bus, like restaurant workers, anything like that, right? If you're going to tie the hands of these people and you're not going to allow them to defend themselves in life-threatening situations when they want to, it's not hard for a company to put out a newsletter, for managers to sit there and go, okay, if a certain situation arises, is there anyone here who would be willing to defend the store, defend the bus, defend the people who work here or shop here or whatever? You would find a few people who would. And those people then at some point in time should be allowed to go through training or pass some kind of written test or whatever when it comes to, being able to use force. Because the thing is, criminals aren't going to stop doing what they're doing on buses or retail locations or anything until the criminals start noticing, oh, wait, hey, it's not just the police we need to worry about. No, we can't even go in this store without either A, getting shot at by the people who work there, or being apprehended by the people who work there. Like they literally blame the guy, the bus driver, because he didn't de-escalate the situation properly. There's really no de-escalating the situation when someone pulls a gun out on you or pulls a knife out on you. There's only two things you can do. You can either put your hands up and back away, which then embroils them. They go, oh, I feel emboldened. I can do this. They're backing away. They're afraid of me. That's bad. If you've never worked a security job, ever, you don't ever want to do that because then you look weak and they will take advantage of it. Period. So, try not to ride any buses in Charlotte because apparently in North Carolina, they do not care about their passengers on their buses and or their bus drivers. Because if they're not going to ensure that that young man who caused that shootout isn't ever going to ride that bus again, if they can't ensure that, they can't sit there and say, oh, he's banned from public transportation. Because put it this way, once again, working retail asset protection, there's been plenty of times people that we trespassed or we banned for either violence, constant theft, or whatever be the case, right? Still came into the store. Still kept trying. They don't care because they know that as a worker for the company would rather take the hit than actually do something because they're worried that they're going to get sued by the criminal. And that right there is where the law and the justice system is failing because when the good people are afraid to do something good, the criminals are going to keep getting bolder. So, you know how you change this? You vote with your dollar. Much like how Target is taking a big old hit with the whole transsexual clothing line thing that, they let some devil worshiper put out forth towards children. And I mean, hey, I'm a pagan. I'm all for freedom of religion and all, but when you start targeting children and design a specific clothing line to tuck in or whatever for kids, that's wrong. Especially when it's as easy as if a parent wants to buy female or male clothing for their child, all they have to do is go to the boy or girl clothing area and buy clothes. It's honestly that easy. There's dressing rooms for a reason. I've worked in a clothing store before, and there was plenty of times I saw a mom walk up with her young boy, and he had pink and like light blue, and I mean these are skirts and stuff, not like just girlyish colors. No, these were girl colors. These were girl clothes from the girl section, and this was clearly a boy. No one cares. But when you specifically create something like that, you're going to take a hit. And it's the same thing if people who work for you don't feel safe. Okay? And that's across the board. That doesn't matter what kind of company you have or anything. Whether you're a big retail company, bus company, cab company, it does not matter. If you're a company and you do not put forth measures to protect the people who work for you and the people who shop at your locations or give you their money in any way, shape, or form, you're going to bleed out cash. And you're going to be forced to shut down locations like Walmart has in Chicago or like Walgreens has in freaking California, where most of Walgreens are gone. Or, anywhere else in a liberal place where it says defending yourself is bad, but yet the criminals are never actually punished. Come on now. So, once again, check out the Black Conservatives' perspective on the whole Charlotte's bus incident, because the bus driver got fired. Like, he got fired. Now, granted, from my standpoint, I can see a few reasons why I would have fired him. Like, he shot in the direction of two other people. I personally wouldn't have done that. I don't have an issue with him defending himself, but the whole him shooting in the direction of two other people who had no part of that whole incident, that should be the firing offense, not the he brought a gun and he's not allowed, because that's also still unfair for anyone who's working for you, Charlotte Bus Company. It's ridiculous that you're gonna sit there and be like, "Oh hey, they're the fine. No guns." Criminals don't follow rules. They don't follow laws. They don't care. So, these rules, these laws that they keep stacking one after another, they only benefit the criminal, because the criminal knows you and me are going to be forced to follow those laws because we're the ones who are going to be thrown in jail, not the criminal. So, vote with your dollar. Talk to your senators, your governors, and say, hey, certain things need to change in these states, or, certain things need to change with these companies or whatever. And you can even contact companies. They literally have a hotline on websites. So at Kroger, Walmart, bus companies, all these companies, you can actually call them and say, hey, here's a suggestion. You want more people to ride your buses or feel safe riding your buses, even though they smell like piss. There's tons of drunk people. There's tons of high people who are causing ruckuses and everything else on these buses. Well, we don't feel safe and or hygienic to ride these buses. So what are you gonna do about it? Kind of like thing. You know what I mean? And annoy the crap out of them until they actually go, okay, we actually have to do something, or we're not going to have a bus company no more, and we're not going to have a job. And then guess what? You who run these bus companies are going to end up being forced to work at a Walmart or at a fast food restaurant or something else like that. So you might want to start getting your heads out of your asses and actually start thinking about, one, the people who work for you, and two, the people who make sure that you keep getting money, which are the taxpayers. Criminals don't pay all that much. I mean, hey, ever so often, working retail asset protection, there were people that we knew who were thieves, but there'd be times that they would pay. And those times that they'd pay, we left them alone. But guess what? Still didn't change the fact that we watched them and made sure that either A, they paid, and if not, B, we kicked them out before they stole something, if we were able to. Because we still had to follow our rules and all of our things that we had put in place and everything else, right? So, That's it for this one. Check out Black Conservative's perspective on the video. I will be doing one on Lululemon here soon, and another one on retail and how to stop retail theft. Like if retailers wanted to stop retail theft, I will tell you exactly how to do it. So catch you for the next one. Later, guys.